Building wealth is more than a mindset on this episode of Unlock Your Wealth Today. Your life fully invested. Welcome to Unlock Your Wealth Today, your life fully invested. I'm your purveyor of prosperity and host Heather Wagenhals, and on this episode, I'm making success simple by sharing the reason why building wealth is more than a mindset. I'm not sure about you, but I know every time I turn on my phone or my computer, any social media I see, all of the ads are all talking about wealth and money and mindset. All these folks that are trying to earn their stripes as a personal finance expert or a wealth building expert are all saying the same thing, and they talk about this money mindset. Well, I'm here to dispel the money mindset myth, because you can have all of the right mindset in the world and still not be able to build wealth. And there's a specific reason for it, and that's what we talk about here at the Unlock Your Wealth Today show. If you're new to the show, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. And for those of you who have been with us, you know exactly where I'm going with this. Because the Unlock Your Wealth Today approach is a money mindset approach that's not just about money mindset, but we take a physiology first approach to success. What does that mean exactly? Well, you can have all of the right mindset in the world, but if your biology is off, you aren't going to make effective decisions. And that's what today's key is all about in our Keys to Riches financial philosophy. And just a refresher, the Keys to Riches is a baker's dozen of financial concepts that teach you how to think like the rich and be in control of your own money. It also gives you specific techniques to create or fix your credit, eliminate debt, save and invest, all while transforming your current financial habits into healthy money management skills. And we do this one key at a time, 1 week at a time here at Unlock Your Wealth TV. And I'm really thrilled about this key, because this fifth key in the process has to start addressing where we make mistakes. And so that's why I say wealth is more than mindset, because we have to be in our, for lack of a better term, right minds. And this doesn't have to do with left or right, but we have to be in our highest resource state in order to make effective decisions. And the reason why is our physiology upsets this apple cart by the way the brain processes information. So if you've ever tried to make a change in your life, maybe it's to budget better or to lose weight or get out and experience life or start a new course or something like that, and we get all excited and we sign up and we're like, okay, I got the gym membership, I got the class, and then we never do it. Or maybe we start to do it, but we fall off the wagon and never quite get back up on that proverbial horse and start riding. And there's a very good reason for that. So we don't do what we know. We don't do what we ought to be doing. We only do what we've practiced. And when we get stressed out, our body starts dumping all kind of hormones, and because we are responding instinctively, which is an ineffective way to respond when you need to make critical decisions. Now, in an emergency, absolutely, I want that system, that instinctive response to kick in and save me from whatever scenario is going on. But money management is not a life-threatening concept, but if we have stigmas that surround our lives and money, if we grew up with certain ideas about money and wealth, and they're not effective beliefs to hold, and we carry those into adulthood, those things are going to stymie us when we sit down to plan that budget or whatever it might be, start that diet, take that class, because we're going to have a stress response. And when we have this stress response, because we're trying to survive, the body moves blood away from the brain to your extremities so you can do one of three things: fight, freeze, or flee. So what that means is your instinctive part of your brain is taking over and automatically responding to your environment. So maybe if you start your discipline and your classes, say, oh, when I get home from work and I'm going to make supper, I'm going to sit down and take my class. Well, by that time, you're overwhelmed. If you've ever heard of that concept of decision fatigue, by the time you get to sit down and do that homework, you're going to be too tired. The kids are going to want something. The spouse is going to want something. Maybe you still have a project due at work that you have to work on, and you're going to get it pushed off because discipline dissipates, willpower wanes. And because of this, we're not going to be able to be effective at whatever we say we're going to do, because the pattern is to avoid that. And then we're going to start, when we think about it and stuff, that then it becomes this thing that we should do. Then we've got guilt, we've got all these feelings associated with it. And instead of just moving past that and saying, okay, acknowledge that you don't feel well, but if you want to get where you want to go, you have to do these particular things anyway, we're just going to fall into that same pattern. So what we need to do in our take emotion out of the picture key is just that. So when it comes to critical thinking decisions, stuff that's not urgent, dealing with life-threatening stuff, but is important, quality of your life, future, current happiness, we have to be in our highest resource state. So we have to look at when we want to make a change, to learn something, to do something different, to change our ways, and maybe to save and invest for the future and make plans so we can enjoy the money we're making now, because all we have is now, and prepare for that future that's on its way. And in order to do that, we have to be at our most effective self. So we have to acknowledge the pain, the stress, the garbage, all of our prior conditioning about money. We have to be able to recognize that it's there, because denying it doesn't help, because we can't work through it unless we acknowledge it. And that was what our first key: acceptance and affirmation. Acceptance and affirmation. So here we acknowledge what's going on and we moved past it. So we recognize that we're feeling anxious or stressed out because there's a ton to do when it comes to effective money management. And if you haven't been effective for whatever reason, the reason is not important. But if you've been ineffective, there can be some stress and anxiety associated with that ineffectiveness. Maybe it's a self-worth thing. You don't think you're capable. And so when those feelings come up, we have to recognize that they're there, acknowledge them, and say, okay, yes, this is a daunting task. I've ignored my bills for a long time, and I'm going to feel crappy the more I go through this. So avoiding it makes a lot of sense, because we seek pleasure and avoid pain in this moment. But we can acknowledge that and say, all right, I feel crappy about this, but if I just set that aside, I'm not saying get rid of the emotion, because we don't want to be stuffing feelings down. Recognize that it's there and then move past it, because that will allow the mindset that we have about money and our behaviors to become congruent. Because you can have the right mindset all you want, but inside, if you're not congruent with what those hopes, dreams, goals, and desires are, you're never going to achieve them. Or if you do, it's going to be so arduous that likely most people give up, because the pain is too much greater than the future acknowledgement of the pleasure that may or may not come. Because money is an abstract concept. It's not something that you can pick up like a book or a phone, because it's not tangible, and it's this idea, and it's totally subjective, because your idea of wealth is different from mine, different from your spouse's, your kids, whoever. We all have this subjective idea of something abstract, so it makes it harder to commit to move forward to do that, especially because we start doubting ourselves. So in order to get that mindset to truly be powerful, we have to get our biology in line with it. And that's what we have to do. recognize what's going on and move forward. So say, yes, I know this is going to be painful, but what if I just put all my receipts in a pile? And that's all I have to do today. It's a 5-minute task. Go everywhere in my house, everywhere I empty my wallet or my handbag, any of the kids that may have receipts laying around, go gather them all up and just put them in a pile. Because picking up the house is not that bad, especially something simple like little scraps of paper, which are your receipts. So start there. Start small and get a small win. Because then once you get through that task, recognize that it's going to be painful, acknowledge it, and move forward. And once you're done, don't just be done with that task. After you've gathered the receipts and stacked them neatly in a pile, look at that for a moment and then feel pride of achieving a small win toward becoming financially free. Because it's those small wins every day that make the big wins. This whole idea of a big win, it's a myth, because the big win is just the accumulation of enough little wins. So this will give us a little win. And so when we get it done and we look at this beautiful pile of receipts that we stack neatly, because we want to, again, take pride in it, we want to feel good about it, because we have to reverse those sour feelings and replace them with something a little bit better. So then we go, yeah, I did that. It looks nice. Now I feel a little more organized, so now I feel a little bit more confident about taking that next step and enjoy and revel in the pride of that first step forward. Because once you get that first step and then you stand back and acknowledge, that wasn't so bad. Actually, the pile looks very neat. I've got the full page receipts from computer printouts in one pile. I've got register receipts of the varying different sizes, all nice and neat. And it's just, we're just sort of trying to desensitize ourselves from that big stigma of managing money, especially if we haven't done it well in the past. Because this will give us that small win, we'll feel good about it, and organization has a level of satisfaction, knowing that everything you have has a place and it's there nicely and neatly. And so do that. Pile those receipts up and then admire your work. I know it sounds silly. You're probably going, oh my gosh, that's so silly. Like, that's whatever. How does that make my money better? Well, it's the first step in the process. So take a moment, if you have stigmas about this, and say, okay, I need to get better at managing my money. I need to be more effective at this. And effectiveness means congruency between what the body does and the mindset that you're holding about achieving wealth. That's it for this week's key. For your key statement, key affirmation, and key action item, just look in the show notes. Or for today's strategy, you can direct message me on social media, on Facebook at Unlock Your Wealth TV and Instagram at Unlock Your Wealth, as well as LinkedIn and every other prominent social profile you can think of to find me. Well, just direct message me and I would be happy to send you this week's strategy. Thank you so much for stopping by. I have one more request for you. As you are progressing through the keys and building wealth, take a moment and bookmark this if you're watching from social media. That way you have easy reference to it later on. And if you really got some value out of today, then please share this through your stories or wherever you can in your timeline, because a rising tide lifts all boats. And the late Jim Rohn had a really, really powerful statement. And I got to co-author a book with him, and his teachings from in my early 20s still go on today. And that is, you are an average of the top 5 people you hang around with. And so if you want to be successful, you need to surround yourself with successful people. So share this to help them get on the path to financial freedom alongside you. Thank you again for stopping by. I'm Heather Wagenhals, and I'm making success simple for you. Now go out and unlock your wealth today.
UnlockYourWealthToday.com is produced by Heather Wagenhals and the Unlock Your Wealth Foundation. Unlock Your Wealth Today and affiliate brands are copyrighted 2021 by Heather Wagenhals, all rights reserved. For more information about the Keys to Riches financial philosophy or this week's free strategy, please visit unlockyourwealthtoday.com.
No time to read the best-selling books for your business or industry? What if I told you you could enjoy the best and most meaningful parts of a book in about 12 minutes? Believe me, I'm Heather Wagenhals, and I'm making success simple by helping you learn on the go just like I do with text, audio, and video summaries from your favorite best-selling books, and do it on the fly in less than 12 minutes with Steve Cunningham and Read It For Me. Join tens of thousands of leaders around the world, including yours truly, who use Read It For Me to learn the biggest ideas from the world's best leadership, sales, marketing, and personal development books in less than 12 minutes. All you have to do to begin reading best-selling books and enjoying your special rate for Unlock Your Wealth fans is visit unlockyourwealth.com/read it for me, or click on the link somewhere in this post. Learn on the go with text, audio, and video summaries from your favorite best-selling books, and do it on the fly in less than 12 minutes. Visit unlockyourwealth.com/read it for me and start your 12-minute reading journey now.